Hello again, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of RWBY Is. Today we'll be discussing how CRWBY crafted a fantastic setting for awesome fights. This video will also serve as the jumping off point for an upcoming short series called RWBY vs RWBY, wherein I pit different RWBY characters against one another to see which is liable to come out on top. But first, I thank you to my wonderful patrons for making these episodes possible, links below, and also to my guest editor, CRWBY, and without further ado, let's begin. For the uninitiated, Remnant's combat system can be broken down into a handful of broader categories that allow for a good degree of variety based on characters, tools, personal style, and more. First among these is weapons. A common meme in the RWBY fandom is the phrase, "it's also a gun," which makes sense. We have gun blades, shotgun gauntlets, and that, among other things. These are used for a myriad of purposes, from taking out weaker enemies to wearing down a foe's stamina while keeping a distance, enhancing the strength of one's blows, or as a propellant to launch oneself around. Some characters do opt for a more traditional style of weapon, though not without their own technological flourishes. But due to the durability seen across much of the setting, even powerful guns are more of a support tool than a primary weapon, as the character's enhanced strength and speed allows for them to deliver powerful, piercing strikes and blows, as well as to dodge or deflect bullets. Which, while not as flashy as some of the more traditional shonens, is demonstrably powerful, in part thanks to what dust can offer. What's dust, you ask? Dust is a crystallized source of elemental energy that can exist in a myriad of natural forms, from classics like fire and ice to more elaborate ones like gravity, and can be mixed together to create new concoctions like hard light. When agitated, it can prove explosive on its own, but can also be powdered and used as a fuel source in functionally everything in universe, and is primarily used as a source of ammunition by the main characters. These can be seen through RWBY's characteristic gravity bullets, which pack a hell of a punch, to being released as a stream of elemental energy from Weiss's blade, or even fueling things like mobile hardlight shields and so much more. Dust can even be woven into clothing, or even channeled through an individual user if one has sufficient control of their soul, otherwise known as aura. The manifestation of a person or animal's soul is, in universe, a quantifiable and measurable source of energy. It can be activated through trauma or awoken by training or unlocked by the aid of another. Though even once awakened, a person needs to train to be able to activate or utilize it, and if their aura is not up, so to speak, then they are much more vulnerable. When utilized, aura enhances a person in nearly every regard, increasing perception to bullet timer levels, along with enhancing dexterity, speed, durability, strength, recovery, and providing a defensive barrier across the body, all fueled by the user's own aura stamina. I provided this helpful pie chart to hopefully demonstrate what I'm getting at. Of course, everyone has different degrees of these various ratings. Someone like Harriet is faster than Elm, who is much stronger than Harriet by comparison. Also, for clarity's sake, durability is the maximum level of damage your aura can tank. Stamina is how many times one's aura can replicate the feat. For instance, Yang withstanding Adam's blade beam with only minor damage in Volume 6 compared to Weiss's aura not being able to withstand a full strike from the armor Gigas in her trailer. A skilled aura user can also channel their aura through objects, extending the enhancement, which is what makes their weapons so durable and perfect for powerful cutting and piercing strikes. It can also allow for more esoteric skills, such as shockwaves through the earth, pumping a foe full of aura till they pop, empowering a strike by concentrating all that aura into a single burst, as well as presenting one with the ability to enhance and control dust by channeling aura through it. Some people can even combine their weapons, dust, or aura with their semblance. These are a sort of purified representation of aura, a near singularly individual power born of a person's unique identity which can manifest in a myriad of ways. There are degrees of limitation, such as shape changing not being considered possible, but the sky is near the limit. Some might not even be combat centric, such as Ren's ability to suppress and later read emotions, while others like Yang's burn, which converts damage she receives into energy to enhance her, are naturally inclined towards combat. Semblances also say a great deal about a given character, be it Ren's penchant to suppress his emotions or Yang's habit of taking on others' burdens, but some, like Weiss, are inherited via bloodlines, which thematically still says a lot about the character. As established, semblances can also be combined with weapons and dust, some key examples being Adam Taurus can, like Yang, absorb energy, but he hides behind his weapon to take the damage and deliver it back. Another example would be Blake's shadow clones, which he can infuse with dust, creating everything from exploding shadows to stone statues. Before we get to the main thesis statement of this though, I want to discuss some outliers. On Remnant there are creatures of Grimm, seemingly non-sapient magical beast constructs with a hatred of all things human and faunus. These seemingly perpetual motion machines are bereft of aura, but still possess a gamut of supernatural abilities as well as incredible physical strength, speed, and durability. They also grow stronger and sometimes wiser the longer they survive, and are the main danger to living on Remnant. Skilled aura users can usually handle run-of-the-mill Grimm fairly easily, and even stronger ones with a combination of strategy, skill, and concentrated force. But endless hordes or the kaiju-style Grimm present a threat all their own, and even weak Grimm can tear through things like cement and steel with relative ease. Magic is the secondary outlier, an echo of power from Remnant's first inhabitants. It allows for one to completely control control and even create natural phenomena without the aid of dust. It can also allow for shape-shifting abilities and, based on key lore, the creation of magical constructs, enchanted items, and even the ability to influence Grimm, among other such horrors. Only a handful of beings possess access to magic, and most of those we see are only fragments of true magic, hence it being called an outlier. With all that out of the way, I want to discuss what I really like about this Remnant combat system, otherwise now dubbed RCS. Firstly, I have very much enjoyed the creative multi-purpose weapon designs and how suddenly someone's combat style and strategy can shift based on the mode their weapon is in. It creates a good sense of diversity, and that is before one factors in how they might be used to propel a person around the arena or the implications that carry with what dust they're using. Dust is already fun in the classical elemental sense, in that it is cool to see things like lightning whips, shockwave shields, and fire swords, but what makes it more enjoyable is seeing how someone's strategy and style can shift on a dime based on what dust is available, such as with Blake's clones. Thirdly, we have how semblances can inform a great deal about a given character's personality, but also how some people might build an entire fighting style around their semblance, looking at you, Winter, while other fighting styles remain the same even when bereft of semblance or weapon. Hi Yang! But fourth and finally, what I think ties this all together is aura, and what I feel makes it stand out from a large part of the pack to many other action-oriented series, which manifests in a few ways. Off the cuff, aura's protective barrier means that even sparring on Remnant can look lethal, as long as someone's aura holds, they at most only experience sensation but take no actual damage. This also means that on Remnant, winning a battle is about the following: wearing down a foe until their protective barrier grows thin enough to pierce or break entirely. Tyrion vs Crow is a clear and easy example where we see aura go from peak to fragmenting to gone. Next is finding a workaround to a foe's aura, usually by surprise attack, but shock and pain can work. As aura doesn't disable sensation, lightning for instance can still impact a person on a sensory level if not a physical level, thus breaking their concentration. Finally, there's creating a concentrated and overwhelming enough force that aura cannot defend against it. This is hard as aura is both incredibly dense and very adaptive, but it can happen as seen with Adam's strike against Yang in Volume 3, as we see her aura still trying to heal her lost arm after she falls. Usually, a combination of these factors is utilised in battle to try and overcome a foe, depending on a given character's circumstances, skills, resources, as well as all the above, strategy. In essence, RCS is not a system wherein power equals power. This is a stark contrast to how ki, mana, or other similar energies are often used, where more energy a person has, the more raw power they have, often enhancing them in every capacity like speed as well as strength. In contrast, on Remnant, the amount of aura one has relates only to one thing: their stamina. Jean, for example, is known to have a lot of aura, but this doesn't make him stronger or faster or otherwise able to outfight a more experienced combatant. It just means it takes longer to wear him down. But that larger aura is still useful in his role as support, as he can use his semblance and large aura reserves to refuel his stronger allies. This setup also allows for glass cannon type fighters to remain relevant. Weiss and Ren might seemingly have less durability or stamina than their allies, but that doesn't translate into less strength. Weiss's strength was able to match the blasting power of the Colossus mech's massive cannons, and her lower durability doesn't stop her summons from being physically powerful either. Meanwhile, Ren is a ninja who can overcome stronger foes by weaving around them and delivering precise, concentrated blows of aura to blitz their defenses or just wear them down over time. Even Hazel, as one of the most powerful fighters with regen that lets him regrow a hole in the chest while fighting, could still lose to someone like Tyrion, as his semblance lets Tyrion bypass aura and his speed would let him get past Hazel's defenses. Simply put, having the most aura doesn't make you the fastest. Being the strongest doesn't mean you can just muscle your way through a fight. Being the most powerful, even with the aid of magic, doesn't automatically mean a win for anyone. The RCS helps keep fighters and battles varied and diverse, while ensuring that different characters with different skill sets and strengths can all remain relevant. Bad matchups don't just happen because one person is stronger than the other, but because their specific skills and resources are a good counter to their opponents. Which also means a shift in foes, weapons, tools, and strategy or environment, or even headspace can radically alter the outcome of a fight, and it means it's never just down to raw power. Which I just really enjoy, and it's why I think Remnant's combat system is perhaps one of my favourites in fiction to date. And that'll be all for today. Thanks for tuning in!